Bass Blues Lesson 3. It's a longer line, but it gives you some more ideas what to play over a 12-bar blues, a basic style 12-bar blues. So we're still in C, 8th fret with the middle finger. The first measure is going to be based off that Lesson 2 pattern, the major triad pattern, but you're going to be doing a little chromaticism now. Chromatic meanings 1 fret at a time, or 1 fret after another. That's the chromatic note that falls right into the 4 chord on the second measure. So I'm starting on the C, E with the pointer finger, pinky on the G, and then instead of going back to the E where you did in Lesson 2, you're just going to go down to a G flat with the ring finger, and that lets you fall right into the 4 chord root. And then the 4 chord root, second measure, you're going to start there, go to the 3rd of the chord, which is the 7th fret, second string A, but this time you're going to walk up chromatically to the octave C, which is on the 2nd string, 10th fret. So the second measure again is chromatic, 1 finger at a time until you get up to the C. So the first 2 measures again, here they are. Higher C, you're at the beginning of the 3rd measure, and you're just going to come down a C7 arpeggio, which just basically means this shape. So that's measure 3. It's starting on a C note, it's just starting on the octave, the higher one, and second finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, then pinky on the 8th fret, and then pinky on the 10th fret of the 3rd string, and then pointer on the 3rd string, 7th fret. So all 3 measures now from the beginning. C, chromatic to the 4 chord, chromatic up to the 1 chord, C, and then measure 4, you're going to land on the low C again. And you're going to do the same sort of line you did originally. Chromatic into the 4 chord again for measure 5. So all 4 measures now. Measure 3. Measure 4, same as measure 1. Measure 5 starts on the 4 chord. You're going to do the original pattern, but here you're going to do a triplet with hammer-ons. Then I'm going with the pointer finger to string 1, fret 8, and I'm hammering the middle finger down on the 9th fret. So I'm only picking 8, hammering the middle finger, and then adding the 3rd finger to the higher F, that's the 4 chord tone, on the 1st string, 10th fret. Here it is again. And then measure 6, also the 4 chord. This time you're just going to jump back down to the 4 chord and start again. But instead of doing this triplet hammer-on the 1st string, you're going to jump all the way down to the heavy string, 6th fret, and do your triplet there. Same picking. You're picking, hammering, and then the next note, the C again, you're going to pick. Now, one way you might want to do this to make it smooth in the pattern is to hammer and then move move that middle finger up instead of using the third finger like this, because that gets you in position to do the next measure, starting on the middle finger on the C. So here it is, measure 5 and 6, starting on the 4 chord F, triplet, start it again, and then the low triplet, which brings you back to the C. And then this measure 7, you're going to be doing the C, regular pattern, and do the triplet again, but this time you do it on the 2nd string, fret 8, hammer 9, and then 10. So I'm going back to measure 5, where we go to the F or 4 chord for 2 measures. And then measure the 1 chord again with the new triplet, which is on the 2nd string. And then from there, after that triplet, I'm going to pick this note again, because that's my C also, and I have another measure of C, or the 1 chord, and I'm going to play this pattern. So what I did there was my 3rd finger lands on the C, and I'm going to start on the C, go down a whole step. You can just use your pointer finger there, and then shift the pointer finger down to 7, and then reach with the pinky up to 11 on the 3rd string. Sorry. Because that falls down into the 5 chord. 1 fret lower on fret 10, but use your middle finger when you get there. You got to shift your hand back and forth. Reach, and then shift to the middle finger to do your 5 chord pattern. So I'm going back to measure 5 again. Triplet, and the low triplet, and the 1 chord, triplet, and then the new line, which is a chromatic line right here, and then my 5 chord. You're going to start on the 5 chord note, which is G, 3rd string, 10th fret, do the regular pattern until you get here, and you're just going to fall there on that chromatic note, G flat. 10, and then go to 9, and that falls down into the 4 chord with the middle finger. And here, do that chromatic line you did before, going back to the 1 chord, and then I'm coming down. So let me show you what I did there. From the 5 chord, chromatic, this time I used the middle finger. 4 chord, walk chromatically up to the 1 chord, come down the 1 chord, the same way you did before, just with a slightly different fingering. And then when you get to the final measure 5 chord, I'm just playing my 5 chord root with my ring finger this time, and doing that little chromatic line. Oops. 10, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to play the whole thing slowly here. See if you can keep up with me. 1, 2, from the beginning, go. Time a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. that's it. Good luck.